So, I have a big problem. We are out of firewood. This whole rack was full at the beginning of the winter, and we are down to a day's worth over there, maybe. The priority of today is to go cut and split more firewood, but I might also need to go fell some dead trees here. So, let's get into it. I'm gonna put on my work overalls here, my warm overalls. These are some insulated Carhartts, which have been really great. But what I'm learning is that all of the outdoor gear that I'm used to using for like outdoor sports, whether it's skiing or snow camping or cross-country skiing, it's all pretty fragile and it doesn't hold up to like logging. So I'm having to go get new gear. This is the first pair of like work overalls I've owned, at least since I was a little kid. And when I got them, I was curious what this little hole was for. I thought, oh, maybe you stick your pen in there, or your eyeglasses. But I couldn't really figure it out. None of those fully made sense. And I looked it up. This is when people had pocket watches. You would put your pocket watch fob on here and then stick your pocket watch down in your front pocket. And that ensured you didn't lose your pocket watch. Are you ready, Ambrose? Should we get a pocket full of hearing aids so you listen better? This is a dog that gets about 2 times smarter and listens about 3 times better when there's food involved. Let's get to it. You ready? Let's go. First things first, we've got leaks in 3 out of the 4 tires on the Polaris, so we'll fill up the tires and then grab chainsaws. And I'm just gonna leave the Polaris running to let it warm up. So this is the tool shed. This is where a lot of the tools just for maintaining the ranch live. Doesn't have a ton in it right now, but chainsaw type stuff. I did find some pre-mixed 50-to-1 oil, so we'll bring that. Back on the compressor here. Now, I have bought replacement tires for the Polaris. I just haven't found the time to put them on yet. I need to put them on the rims. Okay, I think we're ready. Right now, he's just trying to figure out which way am I going. When I was plowing this whole area so that the Home Depot guy could get up here to pick up the scissor lift, I lost 2 of the plow chains off the tires. I thought they were like deeply embedded in the snowbanks. I couldn't see them at all that day. And I was like, ah, shit, I'll get out here with a metal detector. But I just found one. It was sitting on the surface. It looks like it's melted enough that I can at least see it, but it's still really embedded. Oh God. I'm gonna have to get like a pickaxe out here to dig this out. What a mess. What I will say is like, it was doing okay with 1 chain missing, 2 chains missing, 1 on the front, 1 on the rear. The traction is severely affected. So we don't come over this way much. This is our big fire pit over here. And there's a bunch of wood that's kind of loosely stacked here for the fire pit that's particularly junky stuff. But I noticed there were a couple logs here that were kind of partially bucked, and I figured I'd fully buck those. They look pretty seasoned, and I figured I'd buck those into 16-inch sections, which is standard for fireplaces, and then we'll split those with the log splitter, and it'll get us started at least. So I'm gonna get suited up here, put on all the protective equipment, and we'll get into it. These are chaps designed to help me not cut a leg off. The idea is that they have a whole bunch of fibers in them that if you start to cut into them, it wraps up into the saw blade and clogs it up. I've been kind of delaying this because last week it was just cold as snot. We had a day where it didn't get above 0 Fahrenheit. And today it's like in the 30s or low 40s. So I might be overdressed here, we'll see. But it feels good being in the sun. Next piece of PPE is my helmet. This is the same one I've been wearing in the shop in other videos, but we got the add-on earmuffs slip down, and then the mesh visor here. All right, let me just get the saw warming up. Chain brake on. Okay, now we're ready. Gasoline engines are not my forte. I'm learning a lot though. Okay. That's one down, one to go. Okay. There's those 2 logs. I think if we split this up, it's at least a few days worth, but it's not that much. We're gonna have to hunt around for a lot more. I thought there were a few more of these big, well-seasoned logs here. Next thing is to take this over to the splitter, split it, and then we'll go stack it. Go get a stick. You could get a different one. Get a stick. How about one over here? Get a stick. Get this one. Get it. Bring it. Bring it. Bring it. Oh, good boy. Good job. Go get a stick. Go get a stick. That one's too big. Can you get a smaller one? Yeah. Bring it. Bring it. Oh, good boy. Good job. Ambrose gets paid for his labor, just like everybody else here. In snacks. Well, not everybody gets paid in snacks, but partially in snacks. All right, let's go get the log splitter. The question is, are we gonna have to use Polaris to get the log splitter out? And I think there's a whole bunch of BS in the way of us getting to it. These chairs came out of a loft in the workshop. I have no idea where they originally came from. I think I figured it out. This will work. Ambrose, there's literally a treat sitting on the ground over here that you've missed. Here, bud. Okay. This is not a particularly optimized workflow to do this. Thank God for this splitter though. This came with the ranch, and I think I'm just really thankful we don't have to split logs by hand. So, Ambrose is gradually learning to be afraid of things with motors, vehicles, but he also seems to be afraid of the chainsaw, which is great. I'm sure people might have been worried seeing him around me as I was cutting wood, but he has no interest being close to me when I've got the chainsaw running, so all in favor of that. Put it down. Well. Out of gas? Maybe? Yeah.
Out of gas.
Out of gas. So this is the old fuel shed. Every, I don't know, month or so, I take these cans down to town and fill them up. That's how we fill up everything. The Polaris, this, the chainsaw, even the plow truck doesn't really leave the property. It's a 94, so it doesn't need any more miles than it already has. That was a pleasure. Barely even had to drive the wedge into it. So now we get to load this all back in the Polaris, take it up behind the house, fill up the wood rack, and put the log splitter back. Hooray. All right. All right, let's go stack some wood. I think we're done with the chainsaw, so we may as well return that. Next stop, the fuel shed. All right, now we got some leg room. Let's go do this. I don't need this helmet on anymore. Oh God, okay. In spots, there is a lot of snow. Actually, I don't need these chaps on anymore. I've got Sean with me today behind the camera, and he's been a rock star and he's also helped me move wood. So. I think I figured out a new way to move logs. I screwed up. When I was plowing, I lost some of the chains off of the plow truck without fully realizing it, and I need to find them before it snows again. I didn't need the metal detector at all. They're right there. That's definitely them. I just got to dig them out. Oh, there we are. Ooh, they're cold, but chains successfully found. Now I just got to put them back on. Whew. I will say, this is my first time felling a tree. I have gone to YouTube University. We'll see how I do. I'm gonna grab a couple wedges and a sledge, and in theory, not screw it up. Mallet and saw. Oop. Drop my phone in the mud. Oh. There we go. Let's do it. My understanding is I do a face cut out a wedge that comes about 1/3 of the way across. Then I do a back cut at the level of the bottom of the wedge. And then almost all the way through, but leave a little bit of wood as hinge wood, and then I start hammering in wedges. I want to practice on small stuff before I start doing really serious things. So we'll give it a shot.
Falling.
Pretty good. I would have liked to bang a wedge or two into it, but I'll take it. My big question is, where was the dog during that? Because he showed up right here when it fell. He was over there?
Yeah, he ran.
Okay, when it fell.
He ran to go get it when it fell.
Okay. I don't think it really needs to be limbed anymore. All the limbs pretty much came off when it fell. But I think I'm gonna buck it in half just to make it skidding it easier. All right, let's get this thing out of here. Next up is just a bucket. I don't even think I need to split this stuff. It's small enough round. Maybe that end needs to be split, but it's pretty good. And then I've got stuff I've already skidded up here. I skidded up the other day, so plenty of bucking to do, but this is pretty efficient in terms of getting it up here in big chunks. And we can just process it right at the rack. So we'll get into it. Bring it.
Don't think you forget that system.
definitely a workout. All right, let's finish this up.